Today, I present to you a very scary story. It happened not that long ago in a suburb just like any other. This is Tales from Under the Floor. Suburbia is supposed to be safe. You know the deal. Quiet streets, a place where nothing ever really happens. But what if I told you that the most terrifying thing that can happen doesn't come from the outside? It starts with something small, something easy to ignore. That's what happened to Rachel. Rachel moved into her new house about 6 months ago. She was 26, had just landed her dream job, and was excited about living on her own for the first time. She felt independent, like her life was finally coming together. At first, it was perfect. The neighbors were friendly enough. The house was in good shape, and she liked the sense of privacy. She was careful about locking her doors and keeping an eye on her surroundings. You never know these days. But like I said, it started small. Rachel noticed things around her house that didn't feel right. The back gate, which she always kept latched, was sometimes open when she got home from work. Her garbage bins would be shifted just slightly from where she left them. She figured it was the wind, or maybe the neighbor's kid messing around. Nothing to worry about. But it kept happening. Little things, always just small enough to brush off. A coffee mug that wasn't where she thought she'd left it. A window slightly cracked, though she was sure she'd closed it, just enough to make her pause. Then one night she noticed something that sent a chill down her spine. Rachel was sitting on her couch, watching TV, when she caught something out of the corner of her eye. Movement outside. She looked through her living room window, but the yard was still. Just the usual quiet night. She shrugged it off, told herself it was nothing. But the next day, when she was leaving for work, she found something strange. There were footprints in the dirt, just under her window. Clear, deliberate footprints that hadn't been there the night before. That's when she started to worry. Rachel called her best friend, told her about the footprints, about the weird things she'd been noticing. Her friend told her she was probably being paranoid, that living alone could do that to you, make you see things that weren't there. She told Rachel to get a camera just to ease her mind. So she bought a small security camera and set it up outside her front door, aimed at the driveway and the front of the house, just to feel safe. For a few nights, nothing happened. The camera didn't pick up anything unusual, and Rachel started to feel like maybe she really had been overreacting. She slept a little easier until she didn't. One night, around 2 a.m., the camera's motion sensor went off. Rachel's phone buzzed with an alert, waking her up. Still groggy, she opened the app and checked the footage. At first, there was nothing, just the usual shot of her driveway, the front gate swinging a little in the breeze. But then in the corner of the frame, she saw it. Someone was standing just outside the camera's view, their foot barely visible on the edge of the screen. They weren't moving, just standing there, half in the shadows, watching. Rachel froze. She stared at the screen, heart pounding, hoping the person would move, would leave. But they didn't. They stood there for what felt like an eternity. She didn't know what to do. Should she call the police? Wait and see if they left? She sat there, paralyzed with fear. Until finally, slowly, the figure stepped back into the shadows, disappearing from view. The next morning, she called the police. They sent an officer over, took a report, but there wasn't much they could do. She decided to add more cameras. One for the backyard, one for the side of the house. For a few days, things were quiet again. Rachel started to relax, telling herself that whoever had been creeping around had probably moved on. But then the camera in the backyard picked something up. Just the usual shot of her backyard, nothing out of the ordinary. But then the motion sensor triggered and Rachel saw it. A man, standing at the edge of her yard, just beyond the fence. He was watching her house. This time, there was no mistaking it. He was standing there, staring directly at her back door. Rachel's heart was in her throat. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think. She called the police again, but by the time they arrived, the man was gone. They searched the yard, checked the surrounding streets, but found nothing. Rachel felt trapped. It didn't matter what she did, this man kept coming back, watching her, waiting. And then things got worse. One night she came home late from work. It had been a long day, and all she wanted to do was take a shower and go to bed. After she got out of the shower, that's when she noticed her closet door was open. She never left her closet door open. Rachel's breath caught in her throat. She slowly backed out of the room, her hands shaking as she reached for her phone to call the police. Then she heard it. A soft creak. The sound of someone moving from inside her closet. She ran, not stopping until she was in her car, locking the doors and driving away as fast as she could. The police searched her house. The man was gone, but there was one thing they found. Inside her closet, hidden behind her clothes, was a small sleeping bag, and next to it, a notebook, full of entries detailing everything about her. What she wore, what she ate, when she left the house, when she came home. He'd been living in her house, watching her every move, waiting. For what? We will never know. If you liked this video and would like to see more, make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment.